Hey there, spooky friends, and welcome to another episode of Storytime with the Scariest Podcast.
Woo!
As with each week, we are here to read you folks some homegrown horrors. And if you're new to our channel or our podcast, Adam, why don't you tell everyone what homegrown horrors are?
Homegrown horrors are the stories that you wonderful listeners and, maybe, viewers have written to us about something that's supernatural, paranormal, coincidental sometimes, extraterrestrial, or true crime in nature that you want us to read on the show. Robin, for folks who have a story like that they would like to share, where can they send it?
You can go to, or send it to, our email, which is storytime@scariest.com. You can also go to our website, scariest.com. There's a contact us page. You fill out that form with all your lovely horror-y details, and then it gets sent to us that way.
Perfect. So we would love to hear from you. We're going to be reading 4 homegrown horrors this evening. Robin, would you like to go first, or should I?
Why don't you give it a go?
Give it a go. Do you want me to do my long one or my short one? Because I have a long one and a short one.
There's a joke in there somewhere, but why don't you do what makes your heart happy?
Okay, so I guess I'm going to start out with the long one. Why not? All right, so the first one's subject is lights in the sky. It says, okay to read on the pod. Great way to start the email. It says, hi, Adam and Robin.
Hello.
Hello. It says, this is Natalie, and it's my 5th email to you guys. Hope you aren't sick of me because I still have many stories I would like to share. Not at all. Please keep sending them. I try to stay within a theme, so today the subject is lights in the sky. This, the first is not mine, but the other 2 are. I do want to tell you beforehand, I mentioned another pod in the first 2 stories, but it's only because it was the first paranormal podcast I ever listened to, and it brought up these 2 specific memories. I still love you guys best, and the proof is that I've never sent any of my stories to the other pods, only to you. Aw, that's so sweet.
That is very sweet.
First story. So this is a story my mom always told us growing up whenever the subject of UFOs came up. I'm not sure if my mom was present when this happened. It was either before she was born or she was very young, so she doesn't remember. My mom was born in 1965, so this was probably sometime in the 60s. Anyways, her family was having a get-together at a relative's house. There was at least a few dozen people there because my mom has a big family. So all of a sudden, they noticed a light slowly rising from the direction of this big tree they had, but not from right behind the tree. It was further off in the distance, but they only noticed it once it had risen to their line of sight. The light was very bright, and it just rose and then flew off very fast.
Sounds like a spaceship.
It definitely sounds odd, that's for sure. They couldn't really tell how far off it was or how big it was. Side note, there aren't any airports in this town to this day. If you go, you have to drive at least 3 hours to another town to get to a small airport, then take a plane to another airport for international flights. And this light was also silent. The weirdest part of this event, and the one I always assumed was just added for dramatic effect, because it was just too weird to believe, was that the next morning, everyone who had seen the light woke up with, quote, their eyes swathed in blood, end quote. I had to translate that from Spanish, but as a kid, I always thought the blood was like dripping down their faces, but it probably just meant that their eyes were bloodshot.
Okay, I was going to say, swathed in blood.
That seems way more reasonable than like you wake up and like your eyes are covered in blood.
I would believe that it would make your eyes bloodshot.
I mean, that's definitely, and like if you're at a party and something, you might just all get wasted and you wake up with your eyes bloodshot the next day, but either way. Fast forward to a couple of years ago, and I was listening to a podcast called Astonishing Legends. They're Mothman episodes, to be more specific, and they mentioned something I never heard of before. It's called Clique Conjunctivitis, and it's basically a type of eye injury that happens when the eye is exposed to very bright lights. It causes the eyes to look swollen or red. It's been reported in UFO sightings, and apparently you can also get it from looking into Mothman's eyes. So I don't know what the light they saw was, but I'm convinced they saw something strange that night.
It was Mothman.
Because obviously this is Mothman. Because I don't think they would have known to lie about something like that. All right, now second story. So this one is, as Adam likes to say, a recovered memory I got while listening to another episode of the other podcast.
Okay.
At first, I didn't think there was anything weird about the memory till I tried to Google what it might have been and came up blank. Funnily enough, it wasn't one of their many UFO stories that brought it up. It was actually one of their Christmas episodes. I can't even remember which one, but it's about Santa Claus sightings. Anyways, the memory it brought up was of Christmas in 1998 and how I found out Santa wasn't real.
No,
Pause.
That's so sad.
Who the fuck says Santa Claus isn't real? All right, real. Okay, side note to the story. If you believe Santa Claus is real, I am 100% on your side. Also, skip forward about 2 minutes. Okay, they're gone. So this is how I found out Santa Claus wasn't real. I found a bunch of toys in my parents' closet that were labeled like from Santa that they hadn't taken downstairs yet. And I asked my brother, like, why does Santa have like gifts for us in mom and dad's closet? And my brother was like, Santa's not real.
No.
Don't tell him you know, because they'll get you extra presents. So I never told my parents ever that I didn't believe in Santa Claus. I just let them keep getting me gifts from Santa. All right, cool.
I found out because my parents would write Christmas cards from Santa in their handwriting.
Aw, that's so cute.
Yeah.
All right, I'll get back to the story now. Basically, I was upset that all my cousins got lots of presents and I got one. And my mom had to explain Santa wasn't real and we were poor compared to the rest of the family, and my mom was crying and it really, really sucked. And I wish I had kept my mouth shut. But it also brought up a memory from earlier in the night that I hadn't really thought of in years. To set the scene, it's the middle of summer, Christmas Eve, in Argentina. I was going to say, yeah, the seasons are very different on the other hemisphere. And like most Latin countries, we celebrate by staying up all night, toasting at midnight, then opening presents. So a little before midnight, all the kids get sent to the street to, quote unquote, look for Santa, or Papa Noel, as we called him. The grown-ups would set up the presents, or whatever, when the kids were out of sight. So there we are on the sidewalk in front of my house looking up the sky when we start to spot these small red lights in the sky.
Okay.
As a kid, I had heard of satellites, so I assumed that's what they were, but played along that it might be Santa. I'm not sure how long we stayed outside, but it would be between 15 minutes to an hour. In that time, we saw dozens of these lights moving across the sky, maybe more. At any given point, there were over a dozen. They all moved in different directions, independent of each other. Yeah, at first I was like, yeah, they're probably planes, but if they're all moving in like different directions, that's pretty weird.
It's the elves all shooting off into different directions to deliver gifts.
Well, I'm pretty sure Santa has like a bunch of different sleighs, and there was probably like some sort of battle going on, and they were all shooting flares because they needed assistance, so it's pretty obvious. We had a fairly unobstructed view of the sky. There weren't any tall buildings, mountains, and not much light pollution either. We kept spotting them all over the sky and pointing them out to each other. I can't exactly describe how they looked and moved, but the picture is so clear in my mind's eye. The only way I can think of it is if a star turned red and just started darting across the sky with purpose. I know what you are probably thinking at this point. This bitch saw a meteor shower and thinks it was aliens. In my defense, I would like to state that I have seen a meteor shower and it didn't look anything like this. I went through an astronomy phase in middle school where I had a telescope and everything, and I saw all kinds of things like planets and satellites and shooting stars. In all the many nights of looking up at the sky, I've never seen anything like this. I've tried different keywords and phrases on Google to find anything that resembled it or people describing it, and I haven't had any luck so far. But if anyone out there has, please let me know. I will be joining the Facebook group and stuff once I catch up. I have like almost 40 cousins, and I can't remember how many were actually outside with me, but I would say at least a dozen. Damn, that's a Latin family right there. I would say I have probably 25 to 30 cousins, but 40 is pretty impressive.
I think I only have like 10. I don't have that many.
I mean, I'm thinking back now. There's a lot of people I call cousin that are probably not even related to me. So maybe that's the case with you too. I don't know. I'm going to keep going on your story though. I don't really talk with any of my cousins, so I can't confirm what we saw with them. Out of my siblings, the only one that was young enough to get sent out with me was my older brother. I was maybe 7 and he is 4 years older. I did ask him after this memory resurfaced if he remembers that night, and he said he does, but doesn't remember what we were looking at, just that we were looking at stuff in the sky. I don't think any of us told our parents about it. I asked my mom, and she doesn't remember me ever mentioning it, but that's not really weird because as soon as we went in there were presents, and the whole Santa thing probably drove it out of my mind till recently. I don't necessarily think it was aliens, but I really don't know what it could have been. That one's interesting. And then last story for this email. So this one is kind of funny, and it happened pretty recently.
Okay.
I'm going to preface this by saying I don't watch news at all and hardly use social media. You guys can probably guess where this is going, but let me set the scene. Restaurants were starting to open back up, including the one where my brother-in-law works, so my sister invited the family to go. I don't like Mexican food or drinking, so I offered to babysit. My sister brought her kids. My niece is 16, nephews are 11 and 8, and my brother's girlfriend's son is 13. I call him K. So the first thing we did is I set up a little scavenger hunt for them. You are a really good babysitter. A little scavenger hunt for them, and one of the things in the goodie bags that they found at the end were those little things that you throw on the ground and they pop. I fucking love those things. You can throw them at people really hard and they'll pop also, just FYI. Anywho. So after we played some games, I asked them if they wanted to go outside and pop them. So we go outside, and they're kind of following behind me in a row. Kay, then my niece, then the two youngest at the back, and as I'm unlocking the gate to go on the sidewalk, one of the kids is like, "What is that?" And we see these lights in the sky in a perfect row. I had never seen anything like it before, so my first instinct is to grab my phone to record it, and I realized I didn't have it. I turn around and ask my niece to go grab it for me, and I finish opening the gate. The gate is right next to my mom's kitchen door, so I go inside and tell her and my dad about the weird lights. Kay had followed me in, and after about a minute, my mom, Kay, and I go to the sidewalk and stand around looking at the lights and talking about what they might be. I start to wonder why my niece hasn't brought my phone and figured she wasn't interested in the lights, so I borrowed my mom's phone and quickly figured out what they are, but we still look at them till they pass, which was only a few minutes. Okay, so you might be wondering why I'm telling you this, since it really isn't weird or scary, but let me tell you how things turned out from my nephew's perspective. So like I said before, they are 11 and 8. So as we are getting to the gate in single file, when they see these lights in the sky and they hear me say something and their sister runs back, they run after her. When the three of them get back to the gate, Kay and I had disappeared and they got scared. To make their way back to my room and into the bathroom, leaving their sister outside the bathroom, by the way, and start screaming and crying that aliens are invading and the world is ending and that I have been taken. Because they walked backwards, they turned around and she had gone into the kitchen. So to these kids, these lights just abducted her. This is so funny. My niece tries to talk them down, but they are completely terrified and will not listen and will not unlock the door. It took her a while to calm them down, but she had my phone, so I had no idea this was happening. When I finally got back into the room, she told me what had happened, and I comforted them while inside as I was laughing my ass off. This might have been partially my fault, since a week or so earlier, I had let them watch Signs with me, and after we talked about crop circles and aliens and all that fun stuff, this is absolutely your fault for letting them watch Signs.
That movie is, annoyingly good. It
has really good suspense parts, and I definitely like a lot of that movie.
It's very, shove faith down your throat, but the aliens are genuinely scary.
Yeah, I agree. After everyone calmed down, we finally played with Poppets and then played more board games, ate candy and chips, and had a great time. Sorry if this was too long. I have so many family stories to tell you guys, but don't have much time to write them out. I'll try to send more your way as soon as I can. Thank you for continuing to entertain me on long work days. I don't have that many episodes left, and I'm not looking forward to having to find another show while I wait for new episodes. Love you guys, Nat.
Thank you so much, Natalie, for sending that to us. I think it's funny. I think a lot of different families have these types of stories where it's just weird, hilariously strange things happen, I
liked the first two stories, but I really do like the coincidence stories or the weird happenstance where you apparently disappeared to these children and they just fucking lost it. It's just so funny to me to think of these weird random happenstances that lead to utter meltdowns, and it's so funny to me. So.
Trying to think of an incident in my life where that happened, but nothing is coming to my mind of something super coincidental and hilarious where someone thought someone was dying or something like that. I
mean, I know I've had them happen in my life, but I can't think of anything off the top of my head. But as soon as I do, whatever we're doing, whatever story we're covering, I'm just going to interrupt and tell the story. So,
okay, cool.
Thank you so much, Nat, for sending that in.
All right. So the subject of my first email is, who's the kicker? His name is Robbie Gold.
Hell yeah. Fucking love Robbie Gold, man. Best kicker the Bears ever had. Literally, statistically, just eliminated the Packers from the playoffs while playing for a different team, so he's still a fucking Bears legend. Sorry. It's a weird name. It's a weird subject for an email, but man, that inspired so much joy for me. Sparks joy.
You're welcome. Okay, so people that don't watch sports are like, who the fuck is Robbie Gold?
Yeah, they're like, what are you talking about, man?
Okay, so why the fuck do I know who that is? Anyway.
You've absorbed that information via osmosis from me.
Pretty much. Also, I think I had him on my fantasy football league for a few years. Okay, so the email begins. Hey, y'all. Hey.
What's up?
I have a short story to share on the pod. One of my close friends at the time was quiet about her house being haunted and did not want to draw attention to the fact that it was. No one ever does. do you want privacy? Because if you want privacy, you don't tell anyone it's haunted. If you want everybody to come over to your house and be like, yo, you hear so-and-so's house is haunted, or you want people like invading your privacy and coming to your house when you don't want them to come over to your house, tell them it's haunted. So that's probably why she's quiet about it. Anyway, although I had heard stories from other friends of hers that her house was haunted while sitting at the lunch table. However, at this time, I did not believe in the paranormal and thought it was fake news. This took place around Christmas. The story that is about to unfold took place around Christmas. She had gotten 2 kittens and asked me if I wanted to come over to see them. Smooth moves. Obviously, I said yes. That's how you get your crush to come over, right? You're like, hey, I got a dog or a cat. You want to come over and, meet my animals? Anyway.
You want to come over for some heavy petting? Genius line. You're welcome.
Obviously, I had said yes. They were super playful and were just running all throughout the house, tackling each other. After playing with them for a while, we were sitting on our couch watching a movie. It was an L-shaped couch. I sat on one side and she sat on the other side. Behind me, I felt something bump into the couch a few times. It was as if it was kicking it. I turned around to check, thinking it was the kittens wrestling behind me. That's when I saw nothing. There was nothing there. How was there nothing there? It had stopped immediately when I turned around, so I figured I just thought I felt something. Then it started again. I called out to my friend, Angie, there's something kicking my chair. She just looked at me wide-eyed. I couldn't tell if she was embarrassed or freaked out. So I politely said aloud, please stop kicking the couch. It was the only thing I could think to do. And it stopped. After that, I never felt or saw anything, thankfully, because I don't think my bladder could handle it. However, her really close friend stopped spending the night at her house because she said a woman would be staring at her from outside the hallway. She, for some reason, didn't have a door. So freaky. No thanks. Thanks so much for sharing, Amber. Thank you, Amber, for sharing. That's odd that she didn't have a door. I mean,
yeah, it's real weird.
So growing up, my room had a door, but I don't think we were ever allowed to close said door. I think once we got to a certain age, we closed it when we went to bed, but my parents still had a key so, they could open it and do whatever. And it happened on multiple occasions where they opened it. And I was, playing my PSP or doing something I shouldn't have been doing. Okay. But yeah, thank you so much for sharing. I think it's creepy that there would be a woman staring from the hallway because it is both creepy if it were a ghost or if it were a relative.
Yeah, ghost or human, that's fucking creepy one way or the other. I will say not having a door is really odd to me. I had a couple cousins growing up that took their doors off the hinges and hung like beads because they got really into like lava lamps and smoking ditchweed and stupid shit like that. But aside from that, I don't know anyone who's like taken their door off the frame or off the hinges just to be like, I don't believe in doors. Maybe like their parent took their door away. I have definitely heard of parents taking a kid's door away from like locking them out or closing it when they're not supposed to. But I don't know. Really weird. And I'm glad that you haven't experienced anything else over there. Plus, you got to hang out with some kittens. So good stuff.
Yeah.
So before we move into our next story, we are going to take a really quick commercial break. And we're back. All right. I'm going to move on to my second story. And this one's not got a subject. It's from Kelly on Facebook. It goes like this. It says, hello, Adam and Robin.
Hello.
Hello.
I'm Robin. That's Adam. I almost said it the other way. Who am I?
It says, I started listening to you guys about a week ago. Our mutual friend Marcia shared your podcast with me.
Oh, shit. Shout out to Marcia. You the real MVP.
And we know Marcia IRL. She totally sucks, but Kelly's super cool.
Kelly
goes on to say,
Marcia's gonna listen to us, and she's gonna be like, what the fuck, Adam? You're a dickhead.
All right, the email continues. I think you guys had fondue at my house with us when I lived with her. We did, and then we had a Harry Potter trivia night. Yes. Robin was insistent that she would beat my ass, and she only slightly beat me, and I was pretty proud of that.
No, I think Marcia knew the most answers.
No, Kelly did. 100%.
Kelly did?
Yeah, she knew everything. All right. I binge listen to your podcast during the day. I currently am a stay-at-home mom, and I love it.
Aww.
That's so nice of you. I just listened to an early episode when you, Adam, talked about closing your eyes really tight during a night terror to wake up. When I was little, I used to have nightmares. I don't think they were night terrors, though. And I taught myself that once I realized I was in a dream, that I could open my eyes really wide in the dream, and I would open my eyes in real life and wake up. This is a skill I can still do, though I rarely have nightmares anymore. Feel free to share, even though this isn't really a story. One, Kelly, thank you so much for listening, and thank you for sending that in. And when I saw this commit, I was like, this is important, because I've always tried to give my technique for escaping a nightmare to folks that go through it. And if this works and mine didn't, then it's just another thing you can add to your arsenal of getting out of a nightmare that you seem to be trapped in. So thank you so much for sending that in, Kelly. It's a really good email.
What about relationships that are nightmares that you seem to be trapped in?
You can just tell them that you want to break up.
I want to break up.
Fuck you. How about that?
Maybe I've had too much to drink.
I hate you so much. I don't know how I'm going to edit this for the recorded episode. I think I'll just smash cut to our song. It'll be funny that way. All right.
Fuck. Okay, so anyway, the subject of this particular email is the thing in the attic and the spirit box. Adam hates spirit boxes. He finds them to be incredibly annoying. I don't mind them.
I mean, I've never called them incredibly annoying. I find the people that pretend to hear things in them to be incredibly annoying. Like when I watch documentaries and it's like, and then the subtitle says like, nice tattoos, bro. I'm just like, I can't watch another fucking minute of this.
All right. Anyway, the email goes, hello, Robin and Adam.
Hello.
Hello. My name is Grayson, he or they, and these are scary stories that you can share on the podcast. The first story is the thing in the attic. We had just moved into a new house. It is an older house that needed lots of renovations. My room is at the end of the upstairs hall. The attic entrance is right above my door in my room. Not in the hall, like every other house for some fucking reason. So the house I grew up in kind of had the attic above our closet. So the kids shared one room. And it's like you walk into the door, then there's the closet, right? And then above the closet was another set of doors. There was no stairs. It was just a set of doors above the closet. And so you would like jump on the dresser and then pull that door open and then like pull yourself up into that closet or attic room. It was really weird.
This is why you're afraid of having the attic in your room. It's all become clear now.
So the story continues. The attic door itself isn't one of those cool ones that when you pull it down, the stairs come out. No, this is a piece of plywood covering a square hole in the ceiling. This hole has crown molding around the edge because apparently it makes it look fancy. I think it's more so that you know that that's the attic hole. Because I think most houses have that molding around the attic hole.
I think it's to have overlap to provide insulation so that stuff doesn't come in through that. That's what I've always assumed, at least.
Who does renovations and does these things for houses? Let us know. So, continuing on. For the renovations, people were going in and out of the attic and always closed it when they were done. But there was this one asshole who never closed it. We, being me and my mom, had sometimes heard scratches and bumps from up there, so we always closed the attic when it was open. We thought there was an animal or something up there and didn't want it to get into the house. One day, after the PSATs, oh my god, PSATs.
What are PSATs?
The pre-SATs, right?
Oh, okay. I don't know. I always called them pre-SATs.
SATs.
I don't think I ever took them.
I took it once. I took the PSATs once. I took the SATs twice. One day after the PSATs, I was super tired and didn't close up the attic and went right to bed. That is directly across from the door. I have no idea what time it was when I woke back up, but it was dark, other than the street lights that gave my room a glow and allowed you to see shapes and shadows. When I registered that I was awake, I tried to move, but couldn't. When I tried to call for my mom, who was in the next room, it felt like there was duct tape over my mouth. My eyes flickered around the room before they started to drift up the wall to the attic. It looked like there was some sort of dark liquid dripping from the open attic hole. The longer I looked at it, the more stuff started dripping. Slowly, a shadowy hand that was also dripping dark liquid slowly gripped the edge of the hole and strained like it was pulling something up. Another hand emerged from the hole and slowly gripped the edge. The hands again strained before a head slowly came into view. The head itself had shaky red eyes and an open mouth. It just continued to look at me. I'm freaking out. My breathing is all shaky and I still can't move or breathe out of my mouth. So I'm breathing out of my nose. I'm trying to figure out what's going on and trying to move. I'm looking for anything to help. Help with what? I don't know. What would I even do? Throw something at it? I can't move. Younger me was stupid. When I looked back, the thing had opened its mouth and more stuff dropped from its mouth to the eyes and made them look a darker color. Then it dripped onto the floor. I didn't know what to do. I'm crying at this point, so I squeezed my eyes shut and kept telling myself that this isn't real, till I went back to sleep. I feel like that happens a lot, right? You're so scared, and you're super scared, and you're just absolutely terrified, and then the next thing you know, you're waking up. The next day, when I woke up, I closed the attic and made sure to close it every time the worker left it open. When we were done with the renovations, I nailed the attic shut. Like, I took a nail gun and sealed it. I haven't had any problems since. But you will when you have to go back up into the attic.
What the fuck, Robin? But you will.
It's just... But it's like, you have to have attic access, you know? You can't just permanently shut your attic. You're gonna have to go up there to fix some HVAC or, like, you know what I mean?
Do you
Shit
think
happens.
nails can stop black ooze? Like, why are you making this worse for the person who wrote this in? Like, you will be.
You will be. All right, so I know this is kind of scary and stuff, but yeah. So the next story happened November 5th. I'm writing this November 7th, so it just happened before they wrote this. This is from fucking November. Y'all, it's January.
I will say, we have like a bunch of emails in November, and then a few in December, and a few in January so far. So we probably have like 3 times as many in November than October, December, and January combined.
Wow. All right. So we're having a sleepover at Jamie's with Devin, Key, and myself. Don't know if those are real names, but those are names. We're hanging out, playing games, and messing around. Then Jamie said that we should do a Ouija board at 3 a.m. That's dumb. Don't do it. I didn't want to do it because the last time I did, I had a little boy spirit follow me for weeks, which is a story for another time. When they were done talking to the spirit that called itself Mr. E.
Mr. E. Edward Nigma.
Mr. Enigma. Edward Nigma. Y'all, if you haven't watched Batman, which one? Returns?
Forever.
No. Forever.
Batman.
Yeah,
Batman
you're
Returns.
right.
Batman Forever, Batman and Robin.
Yep.
The first 4, well, the first 4 of my youth.
They decided to say goodbye and do a spirit box session. So for those of you that don't know what a spirit box is, it's a thing that flips through radio frequencies at an extremely fast rate and allows the spirit or ghost to manipulate the radio to make words. Or that's what my friend told me anyway, so pardon me if it's wrong. I think it's something like that, where it's like it flips through stations, so there's fractions of a second from each station. And if it is able to pull these stations in a way together to form words, you know, that's how it communicates. Spirits, I mean. I don't know. All I know is it's loud and real annoying. But I think it's kind of cool when words actually show up, because the odds of an actual full entire word or sentence, when sentences pop up on them, oh man, those freak me out. Okay. I walked back into the room when they said they were doing a spirit box session. I curled into the corner of the L couch and had my headphones in and was listening to music and scrolling through TikTok or Instagram. You can definitely tell it is from these past couple years.
And it's from a young person, for sure.
All of us had at least one vape on our person. Oh, hell yeah, this is a really young person. Adam choked on his drink. This is important to the story. So Key started with asking them to say hi. They did. Then she asked them to say one of our names. They said mine. As they asked more questions, the spirits kept saying my name and no one else's. They were still answering the questions but saying my name after. And that freaked me out, so I turned my music up. I took a hit of my, I'm assuming it's a word for a vape.
What is the word?
Juul, J-U.
Yeah, it's a brand.
Yeah, okay. Juul. I'm assuming, I'm not advertising for them. I don't know what the fuck vaping is. It doesn't matter. I took a hit of my vape as the spirit said in this order: bro, share, give, vape, smoke.
Okay, hang on. Pause. Everyone pause. Zach, I know this is you. I know this is your sneaky fucking way of getting your stupid email on the show. I don't appreciate it, but we're going to keep going. We're going to humor it. But I swear to God, if your tattoos get brought up later, I'm deleting this off the internet forever.
We all laughed and put up our vapes in front of us and joked about one of us shotgunning a ghost. Don't know what the fuck that means. Devin's, which was blue raspberry flavored, started turning on and smoking, and we all freaked out. Okay, so this guy's not actually using his vape. The vape turned itself on and was smoking, as if a ghost was smoking his fucking vape.
So, the ghost is taking a hit off the vape.
Yes.
Got it.
This is a fucking young generation story if I've ever heard one. Anyway, after that, we learned that the ghost's name, who had taken a hit, and their name was Ein, not Mr. E. And we asked. So we also learned that he was a frat boy, which we thought was funny. Yeah, man. This is one of those things where it's like, you know how people always talk about how no one ever hears of a young ghost?
Yeah.
This is the young ghost.
He then shouted out, "It's Brittany, bitch."
Later, after some more questions, we asked how many of them were there, and we were told 8. After that, I put my headphones back in. The spirits / ghost kept saying my name and kept saying for me to listen. Key and Janie kept bugging me to listen to them, so I finally did.
Your ghost sounds like Navi from Ocarina of Time. Hey, listen. You know that scene in Ocarina of Time when Navi hits his vape and she's like, "Oh yeah, thanks, dog."
Almost immediately after, there was a thread that scared the shit out of all of us. It went, "Grayson, listen, he's back. Music, Grayson, listen." I have no idea who's back, but I know I paid attention. Oh, what? How does that song go? Guess
back?
Who's back? Back again.
Oh, sorry.
Shady's back. Wait, maybe that song is too old.
Whoever fucking is hitting this Juul with the ghost has no idea what you're singing right now at all.
Yeah. Oh my God. Okay, I have no idea who's back, but I know I paid attention to what they were saying after and also asked questions. Nothing really happened after that until we got a really loud response that said leave. So we said goodbye and stopped, then watched movies after. They said to leave, not watch movies in his space. Damn.
Respect the space. I'm also curious, is this a real spirit box or is this an app on a phone? Because if it's an app on a phone, I have feelings. Okay?
Oh, that's what it is. It's a fucking app on a phone. Guaranteed. It's gotta be.
Do they have spirit box apps on Juuls nowadays? I don't know. I'm not that young. So.
Also, just to make it funny, we were all wearing onesies. Yeah, didn't respect the ghost space. Just saying, he told you to leave. Y'all didn't leave. That's on you. Thank you for letting me share my stories. Please tell me if you want me to share any more stories or experiences that me or my friends have experienced. I hope we all have a great night, day, or afternoon. Thank you so much, Grayson, for sharing your story.
Share the rest. Send them in. We need to hear them now.
Yeah. Anyway, thank you. Sounds like you got some hip-ass ghosts.
All right. So that is everything we have for this episode of Storytime. Thank you so much to everyone who listened, everyone who watched live at youtube.com/scarish or twitch.tv/scarish podcast. And thank you to everyone who sent in your stories. We sincerely appreciate it. If you have a story that you would like to send us so we can read it on the show, please email storytime@scarish.com or go to our website, scarish.com, and click on Contact Us. Fill out that form. It comes directly to us. You can also hit us up on our social medias. Facebook is facebook.com/scarish podcast. Twitter is @scarishpod, and Instagram is @scarishpodcast. Robin, for folks who would like to donate to us, how can they do so?
You can go to patreon.com/scarishpodcast in celebration of the final episode of January Patreon push. This month, if you guys have a couple extra quarters, patrons start at $1 tier. That's 4 quarters. It's not too much, right? It's less than a chocolate bar, candy bar, definitely less than a Starbucks coffee. So yeah, thank you everybody who's donated so far. Patreon.com/scarishpodcast. If you're not into the monthly donation type thing, you can also go to coffee, ko-fi.com/scarishpodcast. And we really appreciate everybody who's helped us get this show this far.
Indeed. Thank you so much. We appreciate all of you, and that's everything we got. So Robin, why don't you go ahead and sign us out?
Keep on creeping on, and we'll talk to you guys later.
Bye-bye.
Bye.